What's going on, everybody? Safar Sadek here. Well, finally getting the final chess pieces set up on the chessboard. We're gonna have us another civil war. That's what I'm just gonna simply entitle this the next civil war. Okay. Apparently, we have this criminal organization coming from the city of Tocaron, Venezuela. There's a maximum security prison in this city. It's like the Rikers Island of Venezuela. Well, this organized criminal syndicate are being sent purposely from Venezuela in here, mixing in with all the other illegals coming in this country illegally. They call themselves El Tren de Aragua. That's the name of the prison, Aragua. El Tren de Aragua, the train of Aragua. It's like they're bringing these motherfuckers in here with railroad efficiency. And if you don't know George Soros and people like him, they're financing and backing this shit. Okay? Here are your battle lines right here. All your southern states, they already set up shop. They're not getting ready. They were getting ready 10 years ago. They're in place now. Everything's in place. And not only that, but they had a tendency to pop up in the Midwest and the East Coast. And they're going to keep spreading. Why? Because they've been allowed to continue to spread. That's why. So, on this map, here are your battle lines. In all your southern states, you got El Tren de Aragua. I don't speak Spanish, so pretty much your southeast and your northeast and part of your Midwest, that's Pookie and Ray Ray and them. That's your left liberals and LGBT and all this other crowd. They fit right in together with them. Okay? In the middle of the country, moving more towards the northwest, you got your patriots and your constitutionalists, aka Red Neckerson and them. These are your Trump MAGA supporters, Second Amendment members of the NRA and all that. Yeah, that's them. Okay? And of course, there's a mixture of all over it. This is just a fictitious portrayal based on current information what the United States looks like right now. Okay? Let's look at this next screenshot. Uh-oh, wrong one. Here we go. See the train, the route that they're coming from Venezuela? Look at that, they done popped up in Chi-Town, New York, Miami. Oh, they got other Negro heavily populated city centers too. Like in Mississippi and Alabama and, Texas and North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Tennessee, Virginia, Kentucky. Oh, yeah. And all the other countries, yeah, they getting up in here. And like I said, there's a reason for it. And they're just the newest thing. What about all the other ones that's already here, been established? And each one that come in here bring a new type of drug. These dudes are bringing some shit called, I think it's pronounced Tucci, Tucci. It's like a pink powder. I guess it's like fentanyl on steroids. I don't know. I don't fuck with that shit. But when I was homeless in Dallas, Texas, there was a drug out on the streets. It was like this fake weed or spice, and it was laced with this shit. And when people smoked it, you couldn't tell if they were smoking fentanyl or not. They'd just be standing still like a statue, staring up at the clouds on a clear day. But yeah, this is what they're taking down, dismantling Babylon, Egypt, Sodom and Gomorrah, America, day by day. Okay? You can say it's political, whatever. Babylon's end has come. All right, let's go over to my notepad. Y'all know how I do. And let's see why all this is happening and where we're going. All right, let's get started with Jeremiah chapter 51, verse 14. The Lord of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, surely I will fill thee with men, as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee. That's Jeremiah 51:14. I call apocalyptic prophecy for Babylon, America. So is Jeremiah chapter 50, Isaiah chapter 13, Isaiah chapter 19, Isaiah chapter 47, and Revelation chapter 18. All those are talking about the downfall of this place. Let's look at Nahum chapter 3, verse 17. Thy crowned are as the locust, and thy captains as the great grasshoppers which camp in the hedges. Yeah, these people got these camps and stuff set up all around border cities and cities on this side of the border. And if you were in one of these border states, you would see what the media is not showing you or telling you. In the cold day, but when the sun rises, they flee away. When the heat started getting on these jokers, hey, they get disappearing. Watch this. Their place is not known where they are. This is Nahum 3:17. That's how they got up in here. Once they got past the border patrol and all that and ICE and immigration, hey, they faded to black. It showed up in Chi-Town, New York, Miami, and all these other heavily populated city centers with Negroes. Like I said, this has all been strategically planned out. Ain't gonna be no more Black Lives protests. No. This is how it's going down now. And you mix this up with Pluto being in retrograde back in Capricorn. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, these jokers are sliding up in here. Don't nobody have a clue where they are and really don't care. Let's look at Judges chapter 6, verse 5. For they came up with their cattle and their tents, and they came as grasshoppers for multitude. Notice they keep, making mention of grasshoppers and locusts. That's because these insects, they move and function in swarms. That's how these people came here. It was the Most High behind the whole thing. He's showing you right here. For both they and their camels were without number, and they entered into the land to destroy it. The book of Judges, that's not ironic. Chapter 6, verse 5. This is yet another judgment during this karmic year of the first year of the age of Aquarius. Man, what a hell of a year we're living in right now. And it's only going to get much worse. All right, let's switch up and wrap this thing here up. Now, the rest of the precepts I'm going to read, I'm going to build this up to how this is going to impact certain of you among the population and everything. The ones that call yourselves chosen. Okay, now all this is now focused on you. We already know who's here, where they're coming from, who's financing. Okay, we already established all that. Now let's see how it's going to affect you in the neighborhood at or near you. Let's start out 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 16, and there's a lot of redundancy in what I'm showing y'all here. These precepts are from what's known as the Apocrypha that were once a part of the original King James Bible. I have to keep saying that. For there shall be sedition, among men. Nothing like good old-fashioned anarchy. And invading one another. Yeah, that El Tren de Aragua, yeah. When they start hitting up these cities and everything and they ain't got nowhere to stay, they're not staying in the streets. Y'all's asses fitting to trade places. Y'all gonna be in the streets, and it's gonna be done at gunpoint. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Because they've been given power to do what they're doing, to destroy this place from inside out. As a distraction to keep y'all's attention away from what's really the focus of attention, or should be, internationally, and that's what's going on in the Middle East. But I told y'all they was going to have some kind of diversion or sequence of diversions here. And I'm just showing you how this one's building up. There's a bunch of other ones that are either directly or indirectly related to this. So it ain't going to just be one thing. It's going to be a whole bunch of shit that's not already started happening, but it just hadn't picked up to 2020 status yet. Oh, we've been past 2020 status in terms of fear. Oh, yeah. So when they get here and they start calling orders, it's going to work, because these guys are working with cartels and, corrupt government officials in this government and, other people that don't want to be named. And yeah, Babylon is in debt. So this is the consolidation of Babylon. Let's look at Jeremiah 51, verses 30 through 31. The mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. Mighty men could be, primarily the military, law enforcement, whether federal, state, or local, or county, whatever. But in this context, military. These dudes in this country nowadays, in this society, they utterly refuse. We're not joining the military. He's flat out putting it out there. And the government ain't doing shit about it. They have remained in their holes. Yep, they refuse to go down there to their recruiter's office and turn themselves in. They just refuse to do it. But they want to claim ownership of everything they think they should be able to have without putting forth no effort. Useless, worthless. Their might had failed. Why? How? See, the only reason why America was ever made great in the first place, other than plantation slavery, was the U.S. debt-based dollar and that military that the world feared up until about 2020. Because they're watching these dudes in this country. Their might had failed. They became as women. Yep, bitches. I ain't gonna even elaborate. I ain't got to. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. That's what's getting ready to start happening. 2020 was just a beta test. Y'all ain't seen nothing yet. One post shall run to meet another, and one messenger to meet another, to show the king of Babylon that his city is taken at one end. I wonder which end that is. Might have something to do with the thumbnail. Just saying. And that's Jeremiah chapter 51, verses 30 through 31. Now let's look at Jeremiah 50, chapter 50, verse 43, and resolve that. The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them. He already know about that shit. And his hands waxed feeble. Well, he was already feeble, but I'm sure this situation right here, and then, so-called Kamala Harris was supposed to be the border queen, and, they just got a mess. Anguish took hold of him, and pains as of a woman in travail. Notice how they keep taking all these jabs. The prophets, the Old Testament prophets, saw the society that we live in today and how they're strategically taking jabs at the men primarily. Let's look at 2 Ezra 15:19. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor. These dudes, they ain't weak like Pookie and Ray Ray and them. Red Nickerson and them give them a run for their money, but Pookie and Ray Ray and the rest of them, they're going to have to depend on brute strength and savagery. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword or with all types of weapons, and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. That's 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 19. We have officially entered harvest season, both physically, spiritually, every way possible. There's not going to be a physical harvest this year. It ain't. Read Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 16, if you don't believe me. Ain't gonna be no harvest, not enough to feed this population, especially with our guests coming up from the south. Yeah, we're gonna have some problems. Let's look at 2 Ezra chapter 16, verses 71 through 73. Now let's get ready to hit home now. They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. Those of you that call yourselves chosen, you're being targeted, because the federales, the corrupt ones, have already done, circulated dossiers on all of us among these dudes. So they already know who we are. But the majority of the ones they're going to be attacking are you so-called Christians, because they know y'all full of shit. Yeah, they from South America and everything, and they into that Chango and Santeria and voodoo and all this other stuff. Look at the thumbnail. Look how that dude look, man. These motherfuckers are into death coats and, shit like that. They heavy into it. So y'all get ready to start encountering some shit y'all don't know how to deal with. Verse 72 and 73 is the key. This is where it's going to hit home for those of you that claim to be chosen. Okay, well, here's your initiation. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses or apartments, wherever you are living. You're getting your ass put out. Go do some digging, and you'll actually find some videos where these dudes, this crime syndicate, they done kicked a lot of people out of certain apartment complexes and done took over. And they running them bitches like the Gestapo during Nazi Germany. They're not playing around. These dudes, they strictly adhere to a patriarchy. They don't give a shit about a matriarchal. That's another reason why all kind of hell's breaking loose in here and more is coming. All right, let's switch up and wrap this up. Y'all see that? For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Watch this part. It's highlighted in green and red. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire. The 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verses 71 through 73. Well, let's zoom in a little closer in prophecy and see how that's going to look as we wrap this up. 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 40. This is another 2 chapters in the Apocrypha that talks about the downfall of Babylon and the Middle East and China. And that's 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and 16. It gives unique and different perspectives as opposed to what the other prophets gave, but it's all the same thing. You need to take it all in. All right. So when you get put out, this is what it is right here. 2nd Ezra 16:40. Oh, my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. I'm going to get ready to describe this battle in detail. And in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. That's 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 40. No, that ain't talking about like the pilgrims that I did in that video on TikTok. Oh yeah, and I did it on here too. In These Guys We Trust, though it ain't talking about that. Pilgrims are like the people you're looking at currently whenever you move about, the people that are on street corners and in tents and stuff. Yeah, those are your pilgrims. You get ready to join the homeless population, whether you like it or not. That's why the Most High sent them up there to chase the chosen out of comfort and convenience. You talking about being transformed and transformation and everything, it's going to be in every way possible. Just like how the disciples and the apostles had to go about like this, y'all finna have to do it too. Then you're going to see who's going to be shuffling cards and scrying and whatever divinatory art that you or arts that you ply. Let's see how, efficient and consistent and persistent your ass is doing all that while constantly having to move around. Because that's what's coming. All right. This is from Ezekiel chapter 12. I give you the precepts when I get down. Now we're getting even more personal. The word of the Lord also came unto me, saying, Son of man, thou that dwellest in the midst of a rebellious house. That's who the chosen are. That's why all this is happening. You talk about you want a second exodus out of here, back over into the original land. Well, it ain't going to be no peaches and creams and handing out lollipops and all that. No. It's going to be with a much travail. Read Psalms 91. That's what that's talking about. The preparation of us to get ready to get out of this place and taking back over word, because there's going to be hell going on here and over there at the same time. But yeah, that's who we dealing with. Which have eyes to see and see not. They have ears to hear and hear not, for they are a rebellious house. They got their nose up these Christians' ass and this fake ass Catholicism and all these other fake religions and everything. That's why. Verse 3, therefore, thou son of man, prepare thee stuff for removing. What does that mean? We'll keep going. and remove by day in their sight, and thou shalt remove from thy place to another place. There's your pilgrimage. In their sight, it may be they will consider, though they be a rebellious house. In their sight shalt thou bear it upon thy shoulders. Oh, backpack. I'm going to tell y'all right now, from experience being homeless across this whole country, starting this time of the year, 2019, up to about a year and a half ago. Don't be packing no heavy backpacks and putting all this shit in there, because you're going to end up taking it out. I'm telling you now. Because you're not practicing doing that now. So don't think as soon as all hell break loose, you're going to get this superhuman strength. No, you are not. So there are plenty of prepper and wilderness survival videos on YouTube for your viewing pleasure at no cost to you. You need to start subscribing to some of these channels, taking some notes, going on Amazon, set you up a shopper's cart, and start getting some essential tools and things that can help you when all hell break loose and there's no more rule of law. You'll be able to enter in some places then. The only thing you have to worry about is competitors. You ain't gonna be having to worry about no cops and none of that. All them, they're not doing that no more. I just showed you in Jeremiah chapter 51. They're gonna abandon y'all's ass. They ain't getting in that. So yeah, bear it upon your shoulders, a backpack, and carry it forth in the twilight. Thou shalt cover thy face that thou see not the ground. Now, what that could mean figuratively is just start walking. Don't take no compasses or maps or nothing. Just take off walking. The Spirit will guide you. Look, the just must walk by faith. This whole journey is going to be a test of faith. Various levels, even levels you aren't even there yet. You're going to be tested. That's part of the gold being tried in the fire. You said you chosen, right? Okay, well, we have to test you to make sure you ain't one of the thousands of bootlegs out here saying the same thing. No, your ass going to be tested, because mine being tested. For I have set thee for a sign until the house of Israel. This is Ezekiel chapter 12, verses 1 through 3 and verse 6. So you doing this type of stuff and taking the courage and the time out to come on YouTube and make videos. You ain't got to have all these explosions and helicopters and drones flying overhead and, Roman fanfare. You ain't got to do all that. You just be sitting in your car or in your room or whatever and just cut the camera on and start dropping some wisdom. Tap in to the Holy Spirit, to these prophecies and everything. You do your tarot, whatever, get with it. Start putting videos, and don't be out here trying to talk about everything everybody else. See, this topic right here is a hot topic, and now you ain't gonna find too many people that really want to dig in and talk about this. I've lived this. I taught. I created and taught discreetly and online the School of Eli while all this shit was going on from the end of 2019 until about a year or so ago. I sure did. I had a few supporters that I pulled into my inner circle to help support that work, but I sure did. And anybody that followed that work or that goes over to BitChute now and find that work, especially the video I did, the School of Eli, which is a compendium of my top classics for videos for the Eli series, even the one that started it all and how it just progressed. And I even put together for you a PDF manual how you are to format and lead your groups about, how many of the people have in them, everything, so that you have order. Ain't nobody else on here. You got people who want to compete, but they just don't compare. All right, see, now we'll get ready to finish it up. Matthew chapter 10, verse 23. But when they persecute you in this city, flee ye into another. For verily I say unto you, you shall not have gone over the cities of Israel till the Son of Man be come. So if you have to pick up and leave for whatever reason, wherever you arrive to is just momentarily. When you get there, the only thing you need to find out as best you can is where the homeless shelters are, where the soup kitchens are, shit like that right there. You're not there on vacation and go sightseeing. There's a famous restaurant over here about 5.5 miles on it. No, there ain't gonna be none of that. It's gonna be just like in the movie The Book of Eli. Stephen King's The Stand, The Walking Dead, The Hunger Games, all that shit combined, and then some. Okay? Now, here's a disclaimer on that. When you flee to one city, when you get persecuted in one city, flee to another. Check this out. 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. The 2 Ezra chapter 15, verse 17. Bro, when shit start popping off in these various locations and everything, the military ain't going in there, the National Guards ain't going in there, whatever law enforcement, they getting the hell out of there and just gonna let that shit implode on itself. Ain't nobody gonna be able to go in there and not come out alive. So while you're skipping from place to place, be ready to spend a lot of time in solitude in the mountains, in the woods, in the back country, wherever you want to call it, outskirts of town, in national forests and parks and shit like that. Yeah, that's where your ass gonna be. Let's look at Ecclesiasticus chapter 36, verse 26. Who would trust a thief well appointed that skippeth from city to city? Been there, seen it, done it. So who will believe a man that hath no house and lodgeth wherever the night taketh him? That's Ecclesiasticus chapter 36, verse 26. All of y'all that says you were chosen, you get ready to have this experience whether you want to or not. Your ass fitting to go through some things, so get ready. Last but not least, Ecclesiasticus 29, 24 through 28. For it is a miserable life to go from house to house. Now, they have a term for this nowadays. They call it couch surfing. Fuck that. I'm not finna be going up in all these people's houses, picking up all these demonic spirits and religious spirits and all this other stuff. You don't know these people. You don't know what they're doing. You're safer outside or in an abandoned building. For where thou art a stranger, thou darest not open thy mouth. They might like it hotter in the house than you would prefer. They might like it cooler in the house than you prefer. Or there's things that they eat that you may not, vice versa. But see, when you're the guest there like that and you ain't got nowhere else to go, you have to deal with this shit. Now, I've never experienced homelessness like this except when I was staying in these hotels and everything. But hey, everybody got to go through that shit. You just have to, be thankful. Because you could be in the streets catching hell still. Thou shalt entertain and feast and have no thanks. Moreover, thou shalt hear bitter words. Yeah, they're going to be talking shit about you, taking cracks at you, and you're going to hear them whispering about you in back rooms and in the backyard and the carport. Yeah. Come, thou stranger, and furnish a table and feed me of that thou hast ready. Yep, they're going to be treating your ass like Jeffrey on the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Give place. Now check this out. And a lot of people that are doing this type of pilgrimage, they run into this all the time. Give place, thou stranger, to an honorable man. My brother cometh to be lodged, and I have need of mine house. These things are grievous to a man of understanding. And the upbraiding or criticism of house room and reproaching of the lender, that criticism of house room, being people talking shit to you, you fucking bum, you need to get a job, or this, that. Look, we're past all that. Soon ain't none of y'all gonna have no damn job. You're gonna be, because El Trende de Aragua gonna be starting hitting these companies and factories and small businesses and retail and hospitality and all this stuff. They're not gonna just stop. See, they just getting somewhere to salt up. So they got somewhere to lay their head and everything to set a solid foundation from which to operate from. Most of them already where they need to be. They done had cartel funding and everything. The cartel shipping more of that shit up in here, getting more and more people doped up on this. They ready now. Okay? So now all they got to do is start attacking the rest of the damn. Remember I showed you in Jeremiah chapter 51 at the end of verse 30. We're talking about they have burned her dwelling places and her bars are broken. Hey, it's time to get body now. Red Neckerson, y'all get ready to get y'all's hands forced. Y'all sitting around, well, we're just going to sit here and waiting, for Trump to get back in there, and then maybe he can get at least half our country back. No, it's not going to happen. Trump's not getting in there. Now, me personally, I would love to see him get in there just to ruffle these liberals' feathers, if for no other reason. But no, he's not going back in there. And one of the main reasons why he's not going back in there because y'all let him down January the 6th. Now, y'all dropped the ball on that. So, y'all gonna have to deal with that. Because they're not letting that man back in there like that. They got everything set the way they want it. They're not going to put him back in there talking about he get ready to drain the swamp. No. The way they look at it, no, you're going back with the Federal Reserve running this country, not the president. Now, I told y'all that in the last video I did or the one before it. One of them, I done told y'all about that. And the Federal Reserve get ready to default on all these trillions of dollars worth of debt, starting with this interest rate cut. That's going to cause prices of consumer goods to just start going everywhere. Then El Trende, Aragua, and Neckerson, and Pookie, and Ray, y'all going to have to step up then because your money ain't going to be no good. You ain't going to be able to go somewhere and just hand them this fake-ass monopoly money that says legal tender, which means it's backed by the Supreme Court and the military. Hey, that shit ain't going to matter. We're going back to bartering and trade, and most of the time, that ain't even gonna work because you're gonna roll up on somebody, hey, y'all got anything to barter and trade with? If it's more of them than y'all and they're more armed than y'all, it ain't gonna be no barter and trade. They're gonna take whatever they want and your ass. This is where we're headed. Don't nobody want to talk about this stuff because they want to feel like everything's gonna swing back. No, it's not. You got about 4 or 5 different variants of all these different, medical issues going on right now, and states of emergency being declared, potential, lock them back downs and all this other shit and everything. And we're coming up at the end of this month, the fiscal year, along with the Fed's cutting interest rates. They get ready to start several rounds of that. And as we transition out of that and on over into October, we got to deal with whatever is going to be going on then. Moving into November with this so-called election is too much that's going to be happening in this country by the time we get to November because they can no longer hold this shit still. All it's going to take, like I told you in a couple of videos back, is one more incident and it's over with. They will lose full control, like I showed you, 2 Ezra chapter 15. And the course of their actions shall stand in their power. They're not going to care about no government mandate, anybody trying to hear it. And these guts get to growling, these hoes get to hollering and screaming because they're uncomfortable and inconvenient. And all this, and these kids get to whining and everything. Blood's going to shed. Bullets are going to fly. So I'm just putting this out there. All this is, the Most High is behind it, but I've already done went over the microcosms behind the scenes that you may or may be aware of that's putting all this together. See, all this stuff's already scripted. I don't have to wonder why all this stuff's going to happen. Y'all do. Because I believe everything that I read in these prophecies, especially when I see it lining up right in front of my face. See, y'all say y'all believe it, but it's still something you're trying to achieve or accomplish, and you can care about anything else until you accomplish that. Well, it's not going to happen because you should have already accomplished it. Okay? So, y'all better get ready because it's starting to get cool. Even out here in the Southwest, it's starting to cool off. It's going to be a cold winter. That's why Hamashiach told them, pray that your flight be not on the Sabbath day or in the winter. He was giving you a hint. Because a lot of y'all ain't going to make it. You ain't got enough body fat. You too busy losing all your body fat trying to be cute and appeal to a bunch of people in a desperate attempt for codependent attention and all this other shit. Man, when it started turning cold in a lot of, I'm talking about colder than what it has been because the poles are shifting, the polar cap, ice caps are melting, all types of shit's going on that most of you are scarcely aware of all around you. Well, this right here is getting ready to set it off. All right, I'm done with this. Deuce.